Welcome, my friends, to Gaming Fin, your chat for everything related to the gaming industry and the financial markets. And my friends, we have to talk today about 11-bit studios, and I just tried to record this video and didn't even click on recording. So therefore, here we go again, my friends. Right, therefore I'm laughing actually a bit. So let's jump into 11-bit studios. So Polish gaming company that had quite a bad time. So let's see. All right, so holiday greetings. So that's a little bit cynical considering how the stock performed, but I had this is on the investor page of 11-bit studios. So it's time to warm up and set our generator to holiday mode. Join us along with Jan. So this is a reference to the new game, The Altars, which has been also postponed as we celebrate this unique season. Leaving all worries buried beneath the ice, light years away, navigate through the distracting anomalies. So they had a game once called Anomaly, and let the frost of the passing year melt away. That's with regard to Frostpunk, so it's kind of creative, but hey, as you embrace the incoming days in loving positive orbit. I think that's with regard to the Invincible, and wish you stellar holiday vibe. So, well, it's okay. Holiday greetings are fine. Shareholders don't have so good holidays, except those people that bought probably an 11-bit studios and expect to make money with it. But hey, no disclaimer, I'm not a financial advisor. And we come to the numbers. Stock performance. Following the release of Frostpunk 2, 11-bit studios experienced a significant stock price drop. Shares slumped 38% shortly after the game's launch, reflecting market disappointment with the game's initial player numbers. That's what I already said in previous videos. And since September, shares were dropping 75%. That's a lot, guys. So then also this is now information you get when you ask Grok AI for the latest news with regard to 11-bit studios. So cancellation of the game Projekt 8. Recent reports indicate that 11-bit Studios has decided to cancel an ambitious third-person action game project alongside plans for layoffs. This news has further impacted the stock sentiment. Then we have the market analysis. The stock is seen as having typical market stock price levels with above average growth. Safe financing, I would put this in parentheses. I don't know if this is still true. Good value, also difficult to say if this is still true, according to recent analysis. Yeah. Despite these positives, the stock has faced volatility due to expectations around game releases, and that's true. So this is the chart, my friends, the max chart on 11-bit studios. I mean, we all agree they come from like almost 0 Polish zlotys and went up like almost 800 Polish zlotys. So if someone sold here and was buying in around there, they made so much cash, guys. So that's pretty impressive. So probably some of the bigger investors are actually selling here. So obviously some huge investors just get out of the stock. So. And mostly they know something that we don't know as retail investors. So here is obviously here in 2015, this is the strong support, the support level. So I don't even exclude that we go back to this. This is also from a Fibonacci retracement point of view, pretty strong. So as I said, the 6 months chart, 75%, even almost 76% down. So this is the first drop. Frostpunk 2 comes out, is a disappointment, and then a cancellation of Projekt 8 game. And now we are just moving down again and again. So let's see where we will end up. So if you compare now 11-bit studios to other Polish gaming companies, because this is what you have to do, then we have CI Games here in yellow, CD Projekt here in blue, and Playway here in orange. And this is now on the 1-year chart, and on the 1-year chart, CD Projekt shows actually the strongest performance, meaning CD Projekt coming back from their crash they had after the launch of Cyberpunk 2077. Then we have 11-bit studios with regard to the 5-year chart, so that's maybe a bit more interesting to have a recent chart. And there you see actually CD Projekt 30% down, Playway up with 17%, that's good to see, and CI Games, even with the total pump we had with CI Games, still up 62%. And 11-bit studios on the 5-year chart, people lost like 60%, 61%. So this hurts a lot. So as you can see, so actually investing in Polish gaming companies the last 5 years was not really smart if you were just holding. So those are probably stocks that you should better sell at a point. So being a bit more a trader. Also, if you look at the financials, this is from Google Finance, then you would say, yeah, but in September 2024, it's incredible 700% revenue growth, net income to almost 2,000 and 1,900% up. Yeah, this is when Frostpunk 2 came out, but before it looks negative, and a little bit positive net income in June 2024. So that's obviously always in relation. So in September in relation to June, and for this it looks then obviously good. Then on the investor relation page, we have the big news of the big news of the decision to discontinue the game Projekt 8. So, and we can also jump directly into this news. So here we go. So the management board of 11-bit Studios has resolved to discontinue the development of the game codenamed Projekt 8. The financial impact of this decision will be reflected in the company's 2024 financial results. So we still have to wait a bit more to know more about the financial impact of this decision. So Projekt 8 was one of 11-bit Studios' in-house projects involving 37 team members as of 30th September 2024. So quite a lot of people were actually working on this game. And as you can see, and its development began as early as 2018, so before COVID even, with total costs amounting to more than 48.4 million zlotys. So that's almost 10 million euros by the end of September this year, representing the carrying amount of the related development work in progress. Our vision for Projekt 8, which was intended to be our first title designed specifically for console gamers, was bold and exciting. However, it was conceived under very different market conditions. So back in the days, situation in 2018, the gaming market was thriving, when narrative-driven, story-rich games had stronger appeal. So that's a very important element. So what does this actually mean? So narrative-driven, story-rich games had stronger appeal. I mean, Baldur's Gate is a narrative-driven, story-rich games, and a lot of other games are narrative-driven, story-rich games. I think, and that's not my personal opinion, guys, so don't get angry. I think this was probably a game that had quite some woke elements. And as we have seen recently with a lot of those games with woke elements, a lot of gamers get angry and those games are financially not a success. Most of those games are not a success. And 2018, this was the heights of the woke games. So probably with those typical woke games, characters in it, lesbian stories, and all of these guys. So I don't want to get into the culture war, but this is basically the code word for it. So we probably will never find out, except one or some of those developers will tell us. But this is for me, that's already code. That's the code word for it. So then the president of the management board acknowledged that shifting market trends were not the sole factor behind the project's cancellation. Oh, thank God. With Projekt 8, we experienced both breakthroughs and setbacks during COVID-19 pandemic. Stabilizing the development team proved particularly difficult, yet progress continued while we achieved noticeable quality improvements in certain areas. Several critical aspects of the game and its development process remained problematic, despite multiple iterations. Over time, delays accumulated, and with each milestone, the project budget grew. It's very important. It's very important to read this if you consider investing in 11-bit studios, because now I'm asking myself, so they were like for 5-6 years, they were financing a game. We don't know what's the game about, but they were not sure if this game is going to be a success, and they were still financing it massively and were not able actually to organize themselves to deliver this game. So this doesn't sound good, guys. From an investor's point of view, this does not sound good. The tipping point came after a thorough evaluation of Project 8's most recent milestones. When assessing a project, the management board always considers its development progress, including internal reviews and independent surveys. We also factor in market analysis and the game's sales and marketing potential. Unfortunately, in this case, our findings revealed unresolved issues and challenges that would require further extensions of the production timeline and corresponding budget increases to address. This, coupled with revised sales forecast, largely reflecting the changing market environment, so gaming industry crash, obviously, and cultural war, raised significant doubts about the project's overall profitability. He also added that in light of these developments, the management board of 11-bit Studios lost confidence in completing Project 8 with a reasonable timeframe and a satisfactory quality level, which ultimately led to the decision to terminate the project. So I also want to say something positive. To be so frank and so open about termination of a project, I think is also important for a publicly traded company. So also respect for this. The discontinuation of Project S will necessitate the recognition of an impairment loss on the related development work in progress. Preliminary estimates suggest that this could amount to approximately 48.4 million zlotys, the project's carrying amount as of 30 September 24. We are currently auditing the assets developed for Project 8 to assess their potential application in other initiatives. We can already see opportunities for some of these to be repurposed elsewhere. He also noted that the disclosed figure represented the carrying amount of the development work in progress as at the end of September 2024, and that the cost continued to rise at a rate of approximately 0.8 to 0.9 million per month, driven primarily by team salaries. Yeah, that's a problem. So now you have the team. Now, obviously, you have to pay them. The closure of Project H will also result in a reduction of staff involved, obviously, in its development. So Marshall assured that affected employees would receive severance packages. That's fine. We will provide psychological counseling. That's really harsh. And assistance in finding new employment to anyone who wishes to take advantage of it, he declared. So due to the phased nature of the workforce reduction, the full cost of discontinuing Project 8, which will also be reviewed by the company's auditor, will not be known until the release of annual report for 2024. So, I mean, a lot of companies did this, but I didn't read this in this openness and in this clear way. I didn't read this from a lot of companies that were actually canceling projects. So Ubisoft also canceled projects and also closing studios or internal studios. So Marshall further stressed that more than half of the current Project 8 team will be offered opportunities to transition to other existing team or to new as yet unannounced initiatives. So it's good, more games are coming. Looking ahead, 11-bit Studios is continuing intensive work on several projects, including Frostpunk 2, which recently became the company's first title to win the industry's prestigious The Game Awards. The team is also gearing up for the launch of The Alters, another highly anticipated release. But that's not all. We have a clear and well-defined roadmap for the future and have already taken concrete steps to move forward. Some of these initiatives, which are highly promising from a business perspective, will help fill the gap left by Project 8. We look forward to sharing more details soon. So I read the whole text now to you guys because I think this was an important text. This is an important text. So, and not only the numbers, but if you consider investing in 11-bit Studios, so profiting from this terrible stock chart at the moment, then I think you really need to know what they did here. 11-bit Studios report surge in revenue and earnings. There we have an interesting number. Where is it? This was done in the report in November, and we go now into details of the report. Where was it, my friend? So yeah, by the end of September, we sold 441,000 copies of Frostpunk 2 net of returns, with an impressive 53.7% of customers opting for the deluxe edition. So also this you find on the investor relations page. I'm not going now in the details of this press release, so we check out the report directly. It's not so much. It's less than I thought. I have to admit. So let's get my laser pointer back. Here we go. So quarterly report for 9 months ended 30th of September. So this report is from November. Here we go, cash flow. So now it gets a bit more technical. So if you're interested in more the technical aspects, the money aspects, of course, if you look into a gaming company, then then stay with me. Also, I can recommend you the video where I talk about the art of analyzing gaming companies, companies in the gaming industry. I think there is a lot of information where you can learn from for your own investment decisions that you take, because you invest your own money and you have to make sure that you don't lose money, guys. So cash flow, operating activity. So all of this information is now from the report. So it's not my interpretation, it's not my analysis. This is coming directly from the report. So it means it's 11-bit studios that are giving us the information. So and I was synthesizing this also with AI to get the information a bit clearer out. So operating activities, positive cash flow, 27.3 million. Now imagine how much they actually lost with Projekt 8. Demonstrates strong operational performance, primarily driven by the success of Frostpunk 2. This cash flow inflow indicates efficient management of core operations despite increased costs for game development and marketing. So 6.35 million. Investing activities, a negative cash flow of 6.27 million euros, highlight significant investments in game development, particularly for upcoming releases like The Alters and ongoing projects. This reflects the company's forward-looking growth strategy, though it temporarily weighs on free cash flow. So also in those 6.27 million, I think there's also money included for this cancelled project. Financing activities, a slightly negative cash flow of 1.4 million zlotys, so around about 320,000 euros, largely due to repayments of credit facilities and interest payments, shows limited reliance on external financing for operational needs. So limited reliance on external financing is the important aspect here. Debt level. So I always look for the debt levels. So non-current liabilities, 2.48 million euros, primarily includes borrowings and deferred tax liabilities. The modest long-term debt level minimizes financial risks. So that's an analysis. Current liabilities, 7.35 million euros, including trade payables and royalties payables, reflects operational expenses and obligations to developers and partners. So this goes to developers and partners. Those are the liabilities they have to pay. Total liabilities, the combined liabilities of 9.83 million are well covered by the company's equity, so a 64.85 million, indicating a strong capital structure and low leverage. Low leverage is also quite good with the equity. Yeah, here we have to dive a little bit deeper to know how they are actually calculating this equity. So what's the way they come to 6.85 million euros. Liquidity, current assets, 20.34 million euros, mainly consisting of trade receivables and cash. So 8.39 million cash. This was for September and reported in November. Comfortably exceed current liabilities. So yeah, current assets are higher than current liabilities. So therefore you have liquidity. A quick ratio of approximately 2.77 current assets minus inventory divided by current liabilities reflects robust liquidity and the company's ability to meet short-term obligations. Forward-looking metrics, the upcoming release of The Alters in the first quarter 25 is expected to be a significant revenue driver, and then here I suppose I was striking the through because Projekt 8 has been cancelled. So development work on this and other projects such as Projekt 8 has been capitalized at 98.5 million zlotys, representing a robust pipeline for future growth. So you have to deduct this now from your analysis because it's not going to happen. It costs some money and it doesn't bring us anything for the company. The company's strategy of incorporating community feedback into updates and expansion for Frostpunk 2 suggests a sustained revenue lifecycle for the game. Well, fine. I mean, I hope they do it. So, amortization of new releases, including Frostpunk 2, starting October 24, will impact profitability, but aligns with the strategy to spread development costs over their commercial life cycle. So Frostpunk 2 costs, let's say, costs a certain amount, and then you have to amortize actually what you were spending to develop this game. So you have to earn this game, and this goes now over commercial life cycle. So this can go for a very, very long time. The performance highlights revenue growth. Revenue increased to 106.6 million zloty, so that's almost 25 million euros. 211% year-on-year growth, driven by strong sales of Frostpunk 2. I said this already. And then, 50% of total revenues. So this is obviously a bit biased in this sense. So you get one game out, and then then the numbers are a little bit biased because everything is looking just for this single unique game. Net profit soared then to 11.5 million euros compared to 300,000 in the same period last year, underscoring exceptional profitability driven by cost management and high margin game sales. So you see how important Frostpunk 2 is for the company. So if you don't believe into the game Frostpunk 2, it doesn't look good then for the company, because Frostpunk 2 is the number one game for the company. EBITDA 13.49 million reflects a robust operating margin and effective management of operating expenses. So valuation and shareholder metrics, equity increased to 277.5 million. So this is 64.85 million euros. And this is coming from 52.22 million euros at the start of the year, driven by strong profitability and retained earnings. Then earnings per share, basic and diluted earnings per share, rose significantly to 19.67 Polish zloty compared to basically nothing, 0.37 previous year. Here again, Frostpunk makes the difference. Low dilution risk, no new shares have been issued in the reporting period, and the employee incentive schemes financial targets were not achieved, reducing the likelihood of immediate dilution. Strategic considerations. So the company's strategy of releasing high-quality narrative-driven games supports long-term monetization. Well, narrative-driven games, Projekt 8 is not coming. Its commitment to community-driven updates for Frostpunk 2 mirrors the success of its predecessor, though they try to make money with Frostpunk 2 and with DLCs and with updates. Revenue diversification across geographical markets is evident with the US. So the US are very important, and China, but also then Germany and even Poland, because they're a Polish company. The use of IP box tax relief reduces the effective tax rate to 11.49%. That's pretty good. Pretty good tax rate, actually. Enhancing profitability in the reporting period, the relief amount was then 1.34 million. Doesn't make the big difference. Well, and here the disclaimer: no financial advice, information from the report summarized by AI, no liability or responsibility for the correctness of the data. Make your own research. Do not buy anything you see in this video. So, guys. So, coming back here to the page, I want to go to the page, and we can look a little bit about the games. Here we are. Those are the games. Guys, it's a very difficult one for me. So 11-bit Studios is a difficult one, and I admit I was purchasing some stocks, and actually the latest crash. The latest crash, I was having an order in, and the order has been executed. So that's also sometimes just my strategy. So I'm now invested in 11-bit Studios, not so much like I'm, for example, invested in CI Games or in CD Projekt, but I thought like it could be interesting to profit from the crash. So that's my strategy. But I see now everything a little bit more negative after diving also a bit deeper into the numbers and seeing the numbers so dependent on Frostpunk 2 and that all the other games didn't really make that big difference. Now I see also cancellation of a project. What on the one hand, I'm happy that they cancel a game where they don't see a financial success in it, a game that where they think that would actually probably be negative for them. All of this is good. Communicating about this is good, but hey, it's still wasted money for this Projekt 8. So it's still wasted money, and that's also something that can make you really angry as a shareholder. You say like, so wow, you waste so much money into a game, and so how long does it take to get good out of this? So obviously that's the reason why the stock is dropping again. This is the reason why the stock was dropping again, as we can see here. Let's go. So hello here. So this is the reason. This is the information. You cancel a game and then the stock drops again 41%. This is Frostpunk is not that successful. Almost 60%. So market cap is now 368 million zloty. So and PE ratio on the Google Finance is 7.9. So it's now a bit on the lower end, also in comparison to other gaming companies. So yeah, I have to say the stock has been really hurt a lot now. The stock has been hurt a lot now, but you know, buying now is probably buying into a fallen knife, especially if you want to trade this stock. So probably buying now is not really smart. But buying now is like buying into a falling knife. So the question is, we don't know if we might stop at the 70 zloty. So I don't exclude things like this. Or if we are now here more or less 120, 150 zloty in this range. So, but what I think is going to happen, so I'm not a financial advisor and I don't have a crystal ball, but comparing this now to other Polish gaming companies, for example. So at one point we might see a consolidation, and then we will stay quite some time in this consolidation phase, and this can take months and sometimes years. So this can take 1-2 years until investors get a bit more trust into the company again, because this is happening because trust is eroding. So trust has been gone from the company. People were saying, wow, I don't trust you as a company anymore. So this is 75%. A stock loses 75% because of trust. And of course, when the numbers are not good enough, then investors are not trusting the company, that the company can live up to the expectations of the numbers. So this trust has to come back. And let's be honest, this is trust from 2016. We are now 2024. So this is trust for 8 years. So therefore, now they have the alters coming out. And I don't think the alters is going to be a huge success. I'm not thinking this. So I played the demo. It's an okay-ish game, but is it going to be a huge success? I don't really think so. So Frostpunk 2 still can make some cash, so that's very important. But then we need another game. And now with Projekt 8 being also cancelled, so what is going to be the other game? What is going to be the other game? So those are small games. The Thaumaturg was not particularly successful. The Invincible was not successful. Starward Industry is suffering still under this game. They need a game again, like the War of Mine, which was a successful game. The Anomaly Games series was not so incredibly successful. So there a Children of Mortar has to come. Children of Mortar was a great game. This was successful. Frostpunk, of course, was successful. Those were the two successful games. They built up this chart here. So Indica was okay-ish, successful. Creature of Ava is just again typical Vogue main characters, and they have to also change this. Obviously, they have to change this as well. Will they do it? I hope so, and then they can become again a little bit more successful. But my conclusion, my friends. So my conclusion is this will take some time. So be patient. Be patient. be patient, wait until you see some form of consolidation. Sometimes goes okay or goes down very quick, but it will always sell off at one point, and then if you're still then interested in the stock, then you can always buy it a little bit cheaper. So, and because here at this point, I think we need some more consolidation. Maybe 60, 70 zloty is maybe this is really going to be the support line. So no one knows, of course, but I would say patience is the most important part here. So to not jump into a stock that just because it dropped a lot, therefore you think like, okay, now I make a lot of money there. So that's my mistake was I was buying a little bit too early, and therefore I'm telling you this, that you can also learn from a person like me, that I do mistakes like every other investor. Therefore you should not copy me. You should learn from my mistakes, and therefore I'm telling you this. So that's very important. All right, guys. So yeah, half-an-hour video. So I hope you enjoyed this. I've seen there was a lot of interest into 11-bit studios, into a new video for 11-bit studios. So I see it always when my older 11-bit studios are successfully getting a lot of new views. So I hope you enjoyed this, and then also I will upload this weekend an update on my overall stock market portfolio. And because hey, last week was also crazy in the overall stock market. So all right, guys, thank you very much for watching. See you next time. Bye bye.